Success Mantra is a program which features people, successful individuals from various walks of life. They are less known heroes who believe in their dreams and have conviction to live their full potential. Idols, icons, innovators who care to live every moment on their own terms.
Good afternoon and welcome to another session of Success Mantra. And it's a great privilege to have somebody really interesting. She is a physicist with a diverse interest in learning, writing, and poetry. Yes, today we have Madhuri Shinde with us, who has diverse talents, and we shall explore more about it as we go on. Welcome to the show, Madhuri.
Thank you, Sonali, and it is great to be here with you and talking about my exploration in success domain. So, yeah.
Beautiful. So, Madhuri, tell us a little about how from physics you came into fine arts and instructional design and to become a learning consultant, and of course, writing your Urdu poetry as your current passion. So, tell us a little bit about that.
So, I will place it a little in different order. In
Hmm.
fact, I will place poetry first
Hmm.
before anything else. Even when I was not aware what poetry means, I was into poetry because I'll give you a little story. I like to, use anecdotes. I was a child. I think I was in first standard or second standard, and being a Maharashtrian, I used to get these Marathi papers.
Right.
And I remember I had this habit. Sunday, there used to be a supplement where you had stories and poems.
Hmm.
And not all poems were for children, but I used to cut those poems and paste it in a notebook. And I still have that notebook kept somewhere. And
Hmm.
that time I didn't know that how much I'm into poetry.
Hmm.
And that is my, probably, what do you say, urge as a poet. So that was my first stint with poetry. Along back when I grew up and I actually started understanding the meaning of those poetry, uh, then I thought, oh, this was what I pasted in my diary. And I was surprised at my own choices. Then even in school, when my favorite was, we had Marathi since we studied in Maharashtra. So Marathi is one of the second languages.
Right.
So we used to have this Santavani, which is saint poetry.
Hmm.
Uh, that was, I used to always come up with the hidden meaning in it. So I think, so there's always a word by word meaning and the hidden meaning.
Hmm.
And I think, again, over there, so poetry has, I never found poetry. I never went in search of poetry. I think it was just there with me. I
Hmm.
took some time to realize that, yes, this is something very close to my heart, and probably I can go quite ahead in it.
Beautiful.
Being a, a good student during, 90s, good student, go to science. And
Absolutely.
then I
There's
was
no
interested,
choice. You
yeah.
have to go to science.
So, thankfully now the stereotypes are changing.
Yeah.
Um, and there was a certain, there were two professions which I was very interested in, and I still have a lot of respect for them.
Hmm.
One was a doctor,
Hmm.
and another was a writer. So
Right.
I always wanted to be a doctor
Hmm.
and a cardiologist, and
Wow.
definitely right from childhood, that
Hmm.
was in my mind that I have to prepare for medical.
Hmm.
So, and while I'm talking, I'll also talk about the failures because I think my
Hmm.
the moments when I got pat on my back, that
Hmm.
has not made me whatever I am doing now. In
Hmm.
fact, my failures have made me more stronger and more grounded.
Right.
So, yes, unfortunately, after my 12th, I couldn't make it to medical.
Hmm.
But then, and I was in that phase, oh, I couldn't make it to medical, and I felt shattered like an 18-year-old. Oh, what next? I've been always thinking of becoming a doctor. But
Right.
then there was a very interesting teacher in my college, and she
Hmm.
once said, in my first year BSc, and eventually I landed up taking physics. It just as a spur of a moment, I thought I'll have to study physics. And in my first year, she said, "Hey, and she was very caring and very motherly towards me. She's still in touch with me, and she
Wow.
said, "Hey,
That's really nice. Hmm.
that's your past. is gone. Now you're a physics student. So think about what you can do now.
Mm.
So yes, during graduation, again, the first year went by, and in the second year, again, I landed up my passion, inner urge took me to the people who were practicing theater and poetry, and that's when I started representing my college and winning some awards for that. That is poetry and acting. After that, I did my MSc because that was a general thing. I wanted to do something higher in physics, so I did my MSc. I
Mm.
was teaching in college, and while I was teaching in college, I accidentally got some writing assignments, some content writing assignments, some art appreciation via a few friends. And once I had gone to films division, and they had a need uh, to uh, of someone who had physics knowledge and who can write. So, because they had some stock footages of Stephen Hawking's visit during 2001, and
Wow.
they said they want to make something around it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, it's a good opportunity. And I said, new
Mm.
something new, right? I mean, you
Right.
are young and my first job. And I said, let's try.
Mm.
And while exploring that, I realized that, I have the knack for educational film writing, and I
Mm.
have the knack for putting things together, research, analysis, and putting things logically together.
Right.
And that's when, that interest came in me. And
Right.
while I was doing teaching, though I enjoy teaching, but there were certain things in teaching which I found very restricting in the traditional form of teaching. There was because I was thinking of initially when I started, I was teaching optics,
Mm.
and I was literally drawing those diagrams on the board. And one day I thought, this is not how you teach optics to a child.
Right.
And thankfully, the college I was in, they had opened computer labs to me. They were very cooperative. So I used to go and do random reading and do experiments. And
Mm.
somewhere I found a diagram which was, animated, and which was explaining some physics concepts. And
Mm.
I said, you know what, this is how you should teach physics. Why a teacher needs to draw the diagrams on Blackboard.
Mm.
But I never knew that's e-learning at that time. This is
Right.
2002, 2003. I didn't know it's e-learning. Uh, 2, 3 years passed by, and I was continuously doing writing. And then there came a point where I thought I need something which is amalgamation of both. That is my quest for teaching, education,
Right.
as well as writing. And I was doing some research, and I came across this field called some animations which were developed by Tata Interactive Systems,
Mm-hmm.
and some work which NIIT had done because they were the prime organizations, pioneers in this field at that time. And I
Right.
said, yeah, this is the kind of work that I want to do. And I started reading, I started applying, and that's how I got my first job, which was in Pune
Mm-hmm.
as a junior instructional designer. So after working as a lecturer
Mm-hmm.
for almost 4 years, I
Mm.
had joined a field as instructional designer. My colleagues were college fresh outs, fresh graduates.
Nice.
Uh, some of them, they were also in the college. They didn't know me, but they were in the college when
Mm-hmm.
I was teaching. But I thought, yeah, this is a new field, so let's
Right.
learn. And this is how. So
Mm.
I would say my writing, my quest for writing and doing better and better every day in the field of writing brought me to instructional design, and that's
Beautiful.
how the
I
transition
can
happened.
completely relate to you because, yeah, true. Around 2002, 2003, that time instructional design became very, very critical to corporates. And I remember when I joined Infosys in the design team
Yeah,
with similar requirements in ID. And I was like,
yeah, yeah,
okay, I have a background in teaching. I also was, like a lecturer
yeah,
before I came into corporate. So and it kind of met your perfect need to create. I think
yeah,
that is
yeah.
what ID
Yes,
does to you.
found in it was
Mm.
how to simplify this advanced level science for layman, for somebody who doesn't know anything about physics, for somebody,
Right.
and that challenge I still take it up. And that's what I find in instructional design as well. And that's why I love instructional design.
Right.
Uh, and this is the beauty of educational film. Like
Mm.
complex to complex topic, you can simplify it first and then
Right.
write it in an entertaining way. This is what educational film is. And I think since you have been an
Yeah. Yeah.
instructional designer
I
is
too,
more
I
or
too
less,
completely relate to this because, like the reason why I came into entrepreneurship was to make education exciting, right?
yeah.
And it's such a coincidence that you spoke about edutainment. I called my company ETS, Edutainment
Ah,
Solutions.
wow.
Okay,
Okay.
so the idea was that anybody who walks into a session has a
Hmm.
nice game time through which the learnings are derived. It's more
Yeah.
of immersive learning. So whether
Yes.
you have a metaphor of dance, whether you have a metaphor of a game, even films. Um, in fact, we used a lot of films like Lagan and so on and so forth
Yeah. Yeah.
to bring forth the leadership learnings into place. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really exciting that, you are doing one part of work somewhere and so many other minds are working in a similar space.
Yes.
Interesting that from an aspirant in going into medical, profession, you went into physics and of course your foundation in poetry and then into instructional design. So tell us a little bit about this. In the initial conversation, you mentioned that there are failures which have actually sculpted you the way you are
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us a combination of your successes and the failures and how it has all played out in your life.
Okay, so let me start with again flashback. So,
Yeah.
during school days, I had hardly seen any failure. To be frank, I saw failure little late, and I had seen people, who were struggling in school days and who learned to overcome their failure. They are really doing very well in this field. So it was like, I don't know whether it was my passion, whether it was dedication. I was getting success in everything that I did, right from education to sports to cultural activities. So, but my first setback, official, and for a 17, 18-year-old, that was big when I couldn't get into medical. You know, I remember nights when I felt, oh, my world has stopped. Now I didn't think anything beyond that. What I'm going to do, so that was the first thing. It sounds very minor now because that's a very external element. It doesn't matter, whether you are a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer. At one point of time, it doesn't matter. That doesn't define you. Something else defines you, and we'll come to that later.
Mhm.
But at that point, I felt like I'm at a stop, and I really took a little longer to get over it. And I always had that hitch that I'm lacking somewhere. But but from the moment that I started looking at different aspects of life and thinking that, hey, there are other things also that I can do, I started exploring the other part of me, which is not beyond that dream which I was, cherishing right from childhood. And that was the moment when I started exploring other facets of my personality, or you can say talent. From the moment I took almost an year to get out of that thought. But when I came out of it, I remember I started participating. Accidentally, I was taken into a street play in college. Then, from street plays to 2 years, during my second year and third year, by the end of the third year, I had already participated in a state level drama competition. I had already won prizes into mono acting. I had already won some prizes in poetry for my college inter college festivals. I was already a contingent leader for a few things, in the university festivals and other festivals. Something I used to participate. One of the intercollegiate festivals is Malhar, which is held by St. Xavier's in
Mhm.
Mumbai, considered as very prestigious. So I was participating in there. I was participating in Kaleidoscope. So why I'm saying this? Because when one door stops, your failure teaches you that nothing stops at one end. That was the first initial taste of failure. And even though, I usually don't talk much about my college or school achievements, but why I'm talking now, because for a 17 or 18-year-old, to explore the other facet of your personality, to think that, hey, it's okay, you can also fail.
Right.
Failing is not a big thing. So I think that was one failure that helped me to understand my other interest areas. So I think that was very essential to what I am today, because that was the point when I realized that I have other interests which are probably more dominant and more natural to me
Mm.
than other things. Probably other things I'm acquiring, but this comes naturally to me.
Sure.
So I think this is the first failure.
Mm.
Then definitely, as you go ahead in college, I never, in college also, I never kept targets for having good grades, because I already had that taste that good grades and all that, it doesn't define you.
Mm.
My teachers used to really like me, because I used to do multiple things in college as well. So they used to say that we hardly have a student in physics who does a lot of other things. So they
Mm.
gave me a lot of love. And then that was the time when I didn't focus on grades, but what I was focusing on was, it's okay if I don't know all the physics, you know but I need to know whatever I know. I should know it perfectly. And this was my agenda, even when I was in my graduation, even when I was studying. So I would never say that I have to gather everything. And that was the time when I found interest in quantum mechanics, which I still find very interesting. I would not say I'm an expert in quantum mechanics, no. But whatever I know in quantum mechanics, fortunately, I'm able to connect it to different aspects of life. You know, I'm able to connect it to poetry. I'm able to connect it to general philosophy. uh, in between, I was studying Vedas, so I'm able to connect it to that. And I think all that could happen because of these failures. Initially, the failures were like, academic failures, like you
Mm.
don't meet a certain grades, or
Mm.
you don't make it to certain type of college. These are very, what do you say, surface level external failures. Uh, but then, these things helped me in identifying my core area and niche. And that was the initial failure. Then I'll directly jump to, I would not cover the corporate life, because, yeah, corporate life, we all have ups and downs and all that. But I'll directly come to the current situation about my entrepreneurship journey, which, I did 4 years of entrepreneurship from 2017 to 20. Um, that was, again, I would say, a reincarnation kind of thing, because you have been an entrepreneur, so you know
Yeah.
that there
Mm.
are ups and downs. There are times when you have pitched for a project, you have worked hard for it for 5 6 months, and then suddenly the project goes on hold. And
Yeah.
suddenly you wonder, oh, how I'm going to pay the salary, how I'm going to meet these expenses. So after having a very stable career, stable salary, monthly income coming in, I took entrepreneurship. And when that stability, that, what do you say, financial security was not there,
Mm.
that phase helped me explore myself a lot at a personal as well as professional front. There were failures, there were successes. And with every failure, I tried to innovate. I would not say I became super uber successful, but my success only I can say, because every time I was trying to innovate. I remember I read one article, one business magazine, they had covered a special issue on founders. So there
Mm.
was a time when I had pitched for a project and had lost. That project went on hold, and we had some contracts, but they were not monetarily so lucrative. So I was thinking, what next? And there was this story about Mr. Piramal, and how he had struggles, and how the textile business was going down, and how he had personal crisis, and how he went into collaborations and partnerships, and then revived his industry. Now, he was Mr. Piramal. He did a lot of things at a bigger level, but from there I got an idea,
Mm.
collaboration underline, because And then I did some partnerships, reselling partnerships with some e-learning tools, some e-learning platforms. I collaborated for content creations.
Tell us, what are these traits or like inherent talents that you had, or behaviors that you displayed, which has really helped you deal with your failures on one side and deal with
Mhm.
success, not getting onto your head and making you arrogant and saying that this doesn't matter anymore. So what are those behaviors which has really helped you along your way?
So I would say A is one advice that my mother used to always give. I
Hmm.
did take time to adapt it because, see, somebody who has been always pampered wherever that person has gone as a child, someone who has always had good grades as a child, someone who was always there at the top in sports, cultural. So that person has a little high on the head. Okay. So I would not say
I could
I
imagine.
cultivated that
Yeah.
habit. I cultivated that habit, and I think my failure helped me, that it was like, but yeah, I think, one advice which my mother used to always say. So my parents, I mean, the value systems that they gave us with time, as you said, age is a factor. With time, as I am growing, I would not say older, I would say wiser day by day. I think, I am valuing the value system that I inherited from my parents a lot. They are simple Maharashtrian people, but the kind of upbringing that they gave us,
Hmm.
that is very different. The scientific thought that was built in, that keeps us, very grounded. So one thing my father used to say that don't stop yourself from dreaming.
Hmm.
So, you should always dream and dream big. Even when I remember I wrote my first essay as in my primary school on a tree. Okay, so tree is this, tree is that, and my father said, "No, I mean this is a very regular thing," and he gave a very poetic way of writing things. So
Hmm.
all, and my mother used to help me with the grammar part of it, and all my essays, right from my primary school to my college, to college till I used to write essays in my exams, were very different. I used to always write with poetry, like, there was like, if it is something on rainy season, there's a Marathi poet called Bal Kavi. I will start with who writes on nature. So I will always start with his poem, like Shravan Masi, Harshamanse kind of thing. So I had a very different way of writing. I just gave one example. So my
Hmm.
father always told us to dream big.
Hmm.
My mother always told us, dream big. Don't stop yourself from dreaming, but keep your feet on ground. Okay. And nothing comes by shortcut.
Hmm.
Just dreaming doesn't help. You have to work hard. There are several compartments in our mind as well as in our heart,
Hmm.
where, which responds to different stimuli in a different way, so
True.
we can't structure a human. So here again, I would give example of quantum mechanics. We are as uncertain as quantum mechanics defines. Like quantum mechanics itself says, a particle can be this, a particle can be that, a particle can be here, a particle can be there,
Hmm.
all at the same time.
True.
So it's the same thing about human mind as well. Now,
Beautiful.
coming to your one question where you said why, I would not say it's generic, that why people from science, are equally good in writing, or they are so passionate about art, which is your general observation. I
Yeah.
would not say that's quite generic, but yes, I have seen, I remember one of our head of the departments, he was a physicist, definitely, but
Hmm.
he was also correlating physics with music. He was equally good in music, and he was a trained musician. So he was applying this, he was doing some experiments at his place where
Hmm.
he was applying this resonance and frequency experiments on music instruments. And he was correlating physics with music, and he had his own findings, which
Hmm.
he had shared with me once. So why? Because uh, science, especially pure sciences, not the computer, IT. I'm
Hmm.
not saying IT people are not, but this pure sciences
Uh,
somewhere, connect you to if you wisely study it, connect you or bring you closer to nature, you know, bring you closer, and it's somewhere uh, tickles the intangible aspect of your brain,
Mm.
which is completely in unison with your surrounding, with nature, with the universe.
Mm.
Okay, and everything coexists. Math, poetry, music, everything is part of it. So if somebody says math, there is mathematics in poetry, there is mathematics in music. Our music system also works in terms of mathematics. The notes, the combination of notes is nothing but mathematics. And because when you study these pure sciences, especially very deeply, somewhere you become very sensitive. Sometimes that the sensitiveness, you are aware of it, sometimes you are not, and sometimes you express it. I remember my notebook in college, and in fact, when I was studying physics, I used to write more of poetry. So
Mm.
most of my poetry collection is written when I was learning physics and when I was teaching physics. All my notebooks, from front it was physics and from back it was poetry. So once a teacher got a hands on it, what is this? Then she said, it's normal.
Mm.
Then she said it's normal. I said, how you're saying that it's normal? She said, no, it's normal because um, because when you study physics, like the more I read about quantum mechanics, the more sensitive I become and the more maturity I see in my poems. You know, and the more poetry I read, or deep literature I read, the better understanding I get of these sciences like quantum mechanics or theoretical physics, which are close to nature. You know. So,
Nice.
so I think I gave an elaborate answer,
Yeah, yeah,
but
absolutely. Very kind of intriguing at the same time, very interesting. So, Madhuri, what has been the most important achievement that you have had in life?
uh, again, it depends on stages to say stages. I still feel the important achievement is yet to come, because definitely after 5 years, I will not be the person that I am.
Hmm.
So I would not say the achievement ends. But
Hmm.
if I have to give you really a very actual answer, I think this year was a good achievement for me, the 2020-21,
Hmm.
because I reinvented myself,
Hmm.
and I re-explored myself. Uh, and I think, I have pushed my boundaries, uh, or, a lot of things which I had kept on hold, a lot
Hmm.
of things which I had, pushed in a bucket of self-doubt, I was able to break it. I don't know if this is an unfortunate year for the entire world, no doubt.
Hmm.
But, maybe because when you are on the verge of crisis, you are
Yeah.
seeing a lot of people in trouble.
Hmm.
You see a lot of people in your close circle or in your
Hmm.
father circle, you're losing them. Somewhere you take a moment and try to peep within, that where I am and what I can do. And I think this year has been good so far, as far as personal excellence is concerned. May it be, learning new things. May it be connecting with new people. May it be trying out. May it be giving up that negativity. It happens. Like we all, I would not say, anybody is complete positive. There are moments of negativity in everybody's life,
Absolutely.
but that duration of negativity
Hmm.
and the frequency of negativity in your life has reduced. So I think this year is a kind of achievement for me for personal fun. Yeah.
So, are you going to recite one of your poems for us?
Yes, I will try to one a very short, and I
Sure.
think which is to the context.
Yeah.
There are several others, but I think this I will because it fits our topic.
Awesome.
So, and it's in Hindi, so I'll just recite.
Please.
आशा कब था किसी के लिए, आसान कब था किसी के लिए, गिरना गिरकर फिर उठना, रुकना, रुक कर फिर चलना, टूटना, टूट कर फिर जुड़ जाना, रोना, रोकर फिर मुस्कुराना, फकत एक उम्मीद के सहारे आगे बढ़ना आसान कब था किसी के लिए.
Wow. Awesome. That was
Oh,
brilliant.
thank you.
So,
Yeah, so
yeah, would you like to quickly, like tell us what was the inspiration behind this poem?
I it's difficult to find out. Maybe it was my see. I observe a lot of things in. It can be my own. Sometimes I'll just give a little background to this. Sometimes I have written some poem, and
Hmm.
that was long back. And some said, "Have you gone through heart, bro? Has somebody broken your heart, or have you been? I said, no, I haven't. Then how can you write? So
Hmm.
I said it made, I don't know from where it comes. Maybe you have seen somebody's situation and that has touched you and you have written. So
True.
this thing probably one fine day I was thinking, and I was
Hmm.
thinking about my own, how I came up with my how I mastered my own fears, and
Hmm.
how somebody else I knew, I talked to people, how
Hmm.
people who have this streak of standing up again, what they must be doing. So there are several other influences that come, and when a poetry comes, why it comes, you just can't say, I mean, so
True.
one fine day it just came, and I just jotted it down, and I thought I will recite this particular thing because it's to our context.
Beautiful. Excellent. So, thank you so much, Madhuri, for coming
Thank
to our
you.
show, sharing such wonderful thoughts. And before we wind up, what is this one message that you would like to leave us with?
Yeah, I mean, I had thought about it, but let me give something impromptu. I think, see I'll talk something about success itself. See, success is, I think success is when probably the entire world is against you, but you are not against yourself. And failure is when you stop believing in yourself and you start doubting yourself. So basically, the first and foremost thing that person can do is work on self excellence and be very objective about yourself as well. Many a times, our achievements are mediocre, but we are very arrogant about it. We feel we have done something else, because success is not, if there are 10 people clapping for you, that's not success. In
Mm.
your alone moments, you should be able to pat your back and say, yeah, that was nice. And I think building that sense is something which uh, with awareness people can try to build that sense, because that's a real beautiful and successful journey when you know yourself in a better way. We talk about a lot of things, but many a times we don't know ourselves
Yeah.
in the right perspective.
Very well said. I think, like when you truly appreciate what you have done, where you have reached, how you're exploring your talents, that's what is the way to success, rather than,
Yeah,
taking too much pride on little achievements every day. So I
yeah,
get fantastic. Thank you so much, Madhuri, and all the
thanks.
best for really looking forward to this Ghazal Nama, and when it gets published, to share with us.
Yeah. So it is published at the moment, but we are trying to, it is live, but we are trying to expand it, because I have come at a point where I can't run the show alone. So I'm
Right.
looking for contributors who can contribute as other authors and take it ahead. It is published. It's there, ghazalnama.com. It's already live, but it's just that it's at present on hold, because I'm creating it as a free knowledge repository on the little thing, and I plan to do some more things in other domains. But this is a little start that I have made.
Thank thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Sonali, and all the best with your work as well. It was interesting having a conversational discussion with you.
Fantastic. Thanks.